Hey there, my name is Tina Cecila, and I am from Central Alabama, and I have been in the beauty industry my entire life, literally. My mom has been doing hair for over 50 years, and when I graduated high school in 1986, I went on to college. I served a couple of quarters at college, and it was just not my thing, and my mom realized it really quick and said, why don't you just go to cosmetology school? You can totally take the manicuring portion and become a manicurist. You enjoy those things. Art was my background. Art was what I wanted to do when I grew up. And so the love of art with the skills of manicuring just went hand in hand. And when I graduated from nail school back in 1987, I went and took my state board license, of course, and then I got a job in a very busy salon right here in our hometown. And it was one of those salons that was very busy. I was one of 6 nail techs, and I built a clientele very quickly. When I saw that there was a continuing education opportunity over in Atlanta where you could go and attend a beauty show, a nail show, and enter a nail competition, I was all in. I bought my ticket. I grabbed my friends. I made my sister become my model, and we went to Atlanta. And I entered a nail competition. It was a tip and overlay using acrylic category. Now, let me kind of set the stage for you here, because back in 1987, we had clear acrylic, we had white acrylic, but it wasn't a bright white. We had pink acrylic and natural. And the natural pink and white was brand new. And so most people weren't even using it at that point, but I loved it. And I loved being able to create a French manicure using those colors. And that's exactly what I did in that tip and overlay category in the competition. I got my sister's nails done, I got everything done in the time allotted, and once the competition was over and they called out the winners, they called my name, and I was so excited. And that was the very beginning of what kind of started my love of the entire industry. I mean, I knew I enjoyed doing nails. I knew I loved the art of it, but learning all of the continuing education and being a competitive platform artist was right up my alley. I loved it. So I began to kind of do the competition circuit, and I was approached by several manufacturers to be a demonstration artist for them and an educator. And throughout the following years, I was trained on presentation skills, more artistic skills, more product information, just all of the stuff. So I worked for various manufacturers. I became a salon owner, and I had a full clientele. I loved doing nails. So I love the people portion of doing nails. I got to be great friends with my clients. I loved being able to hear about their lives and just stay connected with them. So for the next 27 years, this was what I did, and I loved it. So back in 2012, in the fall of the year, so it's been 6 years now, I began to have some really chronic issues with my health. A lot of achy joints. I had neck and shoulder pain, which most manicurists did. That's just kind of what we had as like a risk of doing what we did. I had achy wrists and issues with repetitive motion. I had sinus issues my whole life, but these particular sets of issues were more like in my hips, my knees, my ankles, my feet. They hurt all the time. You know what? I was thankful that I was a nail tech, because I couldn't imagine standing up all day as a hairstylist with the way my feet hurt. And so I began to see my doctor, have some blood work done. And the blood work came back showing that I had a positive ANA, which is short for autoimmune. And I had some additional blood work done that showed that I didn't have any of the scary autoimmune things that they have tests for, which is really good. But I did, my doctor told me that, well, you just have fibromyalgia. And here are 12 prescriptions to help you get over and deal with fibromyalgia. Well, let me tell you, as a nail tech, I had plenty of clients and even employees over the years that had fibromyalgia. And I knew I didn't want to escalate my health into the situation that these people were in. But I also knew that the 12 prescriptions that the doctor had just handed me was not my answer either. I have lots of DNA, genetic relations with people who have had extreme addiction issues. And so all I saw when they handed me those 12 prescriptions was future drug addict, and I didn't want to be that. So I began to really research and be my own health advocate. I would Google foods that cause inflammation, because inflammation was at the root of what my problems were. And I found out about a lot of the foods that I had been eating were the things that were contributing to my bad health. And of course, I started just taking those things out of my diet. I put down the aspartame-loaded drinks that I would have on my station all throughout the day. I stopped going through drive-thrus. I started preparing my lunch at home, making fresh meals at home using fresh ingredients. I discovered natural remedies like herbs and essential oils that would help with some of the things that I wanted to overcome. And I saw results in a short amount of time. And so I knew I was onto something. So throughout the following few months, my clients, my coworkers, my friends, my family, they noticed I was feeling better. And of course, I couldn't stop talking about it. I talked to whoever would listen about healthier eating. As I was learning it, I was regurgitating it to whoever was sitting across the desk from me. And they were encouraged by the information, so they would start incorporating some of the things. And it wasn't long before people asked me, well, why don't you open the salon in the evening or on the weekend and hold classes? We'll come to classes. If you'll teach the classes, we'll come to the classes. So I did that. I wasn't a professional herbalist. I wasn't a naturopath. I wasn't any of those things. I was just passing along what I was learning and sharing with people resources where they could find answers. And that was huge because everybody wanted to know more. I was invited to go into everyone's home, not just the salon. Can you come speak to my garden club? Can you come speak to my Sunday school class? Can you come speak to my family? I will open my living room. I will gather people. Please, people need to know this. Come and teach what you know. And so that's what I did. And it actually developed a business. And I'm going to actually record a second video so that I can take you through some of those business things that I have done and how it's blessed me and how that opportunity is available for you too. But I really want to focus this video on the steps that I took to make sure that I was healthy. Because as an industry veteran, it's in my heart to make sure that my brothers and sisters that are also in the beauty industry know what they need to do to support their own wellness. Because let's face it, the types of products that we use to help make everyone beautiful can be hazardous to our health in some ways. Now, I'm not saying you got to stop doing what you're doing, and I'm not saying you got to leave the industry. But what I am saying is there are ways that you can take care of yourself and your body when you're not at work. And there are steps that you can take to make sure that you are protecting yourself inside the salon. So let's talk about some of those. First of all, I don't have any notes. I'm just talking from my memory, so I may forget some things. But we know that the things that we use have the ability to cause some problems if we're overexposed. Well, what is overexposure? Anything but light and electricity is a chemical, right? So we're not talking about all chemicals being bad. We're talking about harsh, toxic chemicals that we tend to get overexposed by, or that we are not using proper measures to make sure that we are protected. I used to think that the rubber gloves that hairstylists wore were to protect their manicure. I did. I thought, well, if you wear those gloves, then the hair color won't stain your nails and it'll make my job easier when you come to get your nails done. Um, that's false. You wear the rubber gloves to keep from absorbing the products that you come into contact with throughout the day, because we know that what we touch is absorbed through our skin. It hasn't been that long ago that science thought everything stayed on the outside of the skin. But then here we are today, we have actual transdermal pharmaceuticals that are made to be absorbed in the skin. And we know that essential oils and that some medicines and things that we put on our skin are absorbed right into our body. Some things take longer to be absorbed than others, and there's a lot of factors that go into that. But when you're handling any of your salon chemicals, your salon products, please wear gloves. And that even goes for you guys that are doing nails. I used to think about wearing gloves, but I would quickly dismiss it because when I would feel the surface of the nail, I needed to feel with my thumb, is it smooth? Are there any bumps and ridges in that nail? If there was any other filing and buffing that I needed to do. So I quickly dismissed wearing gloves as a nail tech. Maybe that was not such a bad idea. Maybe I should have retrained myself to look for those bumps and ridges without having to rely on my thumb to feel them. Because the things that we touch, whether you're prepping a nail, whether you're applying a product, whether you're wiping off a sticky layer, or if you're just filing your client's nails and those particles are landing on your skin, there's still enough wet product in that dust to cause a reaction. And I know some of you already have felt those issues in the fact that you may have rashes on your hands. You may have peeling of the skin underneath the fingers that you use the most, that are exposed the most. That is your body letting you know, I don't like this overexposure. You are getting overexposed. So please use measures like wearing gloves when you're handling your salon products. Another thing is inhalation. Inhalation of the aromatic, the volatile in the air chemicals that you're breathing in can cause overexposure. It can weaken your lungs. It can cause even some disruptions in your emotions, in your thought process. Brain fog was a huge thing that I dealt with when I wasn't healthy, and I no longer deal with it. So let's talk about some things that can actually have some negative effects of you. We know that secondhand smoke is toxic. Science has proven that, and most of us stay away from that secondhand smoke. But did you know that fragrance has actually been named the new secondhand smoke, and that some studies show that fragrance is even more toxic than secondhand smoke? Now, why? The word fragrance on a label can be hiding hundreds of chemicals that you think you may be avoiding. The government allows manufacturers to use the word fragrance as an umbrella word for all the proprietary combinations of other chemicals they use to come up with that signature fragrance. You don't have to disclose it. So it's a proprietary benefit of a company that protects their trade secrets. So originally that was a really good idea. However, as a savvy consumer, I want to know what's in that product. I don't want companies sneaking under the word fragrance some things that I know I don't want to breathe. So look at your products. Do they have the word fragrance on them? And if they do, investigate that company. Get the MSDS sheets for those products. Look and see what could be under the word fragrance. If it's something that you're trying to avoid for health reasons, then change the product, change the company. Aerosol sprays. We, are spraying hairspray all over the salon. If you're doing a wrap, you're spraying a catalyst that's going to cure the adhesives on the nail. If you're using acrylic, even if it's odorless acrylic, the vapors are still there. You just may not be able to smell them, okay? So all of the smells that are in a salon can have an adverse reaction on you. So what should you do? Of course, proper ventilation. Proper ventilation is super important. So investigate the industry and find some proper ventilation and use it, especially the nail techs. You also want particle ventilation, something that's going to pull the particles away from your face. Some of you may have heard of black lung. Historically, that is something that coal miners suffered from. Nail technicians can have a similar issue from breathing in the particles of nail filings. Here's another thing. I've actually seen people dealing with fungal infections in their lungs that were traced back to filing fungal infected fingernails and toenails during services. We're breathing that in. So consider maybe using a mask when you're working on your clients, especially if there's a lot of particles coming up into your face. You have to protect your sinus passages and your lungs. Okay, so we've talked about topical. We've talked about the aromatic. Did you know that your limbic system is where your emotions are seated? And the limbic system of your brain is accessed through your nose, through your sense of smell. So when we inhale something, good or bad, it can be affecting our limbic system of the brain. It can be affecting our emotions. So as we're breathing these things in, we want to protect ourselves. So in the salon, there are some ways that you can protect yourself. Number one, I recommend diffusing pure essential oils by Young Living. Having a diffuser at every station and using the type of oils that can cater to not only a relaxing environment for you and your client, can actually cleanse and counteract some of the toxic things that are already in the air from our products. I recommend that you use and switch as many products that you use in the salon to things that have less toxic ingredients. Support the companies in your industry that are going the extra mile to make sure that they are free from the harmful ingredients. There are dozens of them out there, and I'm not going to endorse any single one of them. This is where your continued education and your research is so valuable for you to be able to do, okay? So do your research, find those companies, talk to their representatives, go to their classes, attend trade shows, better yourself and better your education, and then make those switches accordingly. All right, so as people, we tend to use products on ourselves before we ever get to the salon. We clean our homes, we clean our salons, we use deodorant, we use mouthwash, toothpaste, shampoo, conditioner, makeup. All of these things that we use have we can either have a good choice or a bad choice. The bad choice is going to also lend to that overexposure we're having in the salon. The good choices are going to limit our exposure, therefore hopefully eliminating the overexposure of the things that we can actually choose for ourselves and our beauty, okay, and our personal care maintenance. So all of the products from Young Living have none of the harsh ingredients, none of the synthetic ingredients, none of the harmful fragrances. So that's why I got behind Young Living, because I didn't have to spend the time reading the back of the labels and looking at all of the ingredients and then going over and researching those. They're all safe, and it saves me a lot of time and money just by shopping from one company. So there are a couple of resources that I'd like to share with you. There are 2 free apps that you can get on your smartphone. One is called Think Dirty. The other one's called EWG. And those are environmental watchdog groups that create this free app. They have a ton of product data in their app. And you're able to scan the barcode on a product. And if it's in their data, it will give you a score from 1 to 10. 1 being awesome. Use it. Enjoy it. 10 being, no, put it back. Don't use it ever. Okay? It'll even tell you why. It'll tell you if it's an endocrine system disruptor. It'll tell you if it's a carcinogen. It'll tell you if it creates learning disorders. You don't want that stuff in your life. And let me encourage you to get those apps, either one or both, and scan everything in your home. Everything you're putting on your children, on your pets, on yourself. Everything you're cleaning your home with. If you're seeing the scores that I was seeing when I learned this stuff, throw that stuff away and replace it. And I can tell you, as a mom of 2 daughters, I didn't know any better. And there were baby products that I was putting on my kids that are 9s and 10s on those apps. Who knew? I did not know. I know now, and part of my job, part of my passion is educating people now on what's out there, what you can make the choice and stop using the things that are toxic. It's no wonder we have so many problems right now with autism and infertility and people with hormone-driven cancers. We don't have to live that way, you guys. So it all starts with you. You are the gatekeeper of your home and your family. Then when you learn this, take it to your clients. Change the way you're doing things in the salon. Look at all the room sprays. Look at the scented candles, the plug-ins that go in and emit these fragrances in the salon. As a salon owner, we try our best to make sure that when people come in, they don't smell acrylics and perms, right? So what we do is we over-fragrance everything. We spray all the stuff. We get the new candles. We get the new plug-ins. We get all the sprays. And then before you know it, all we've done is added more toxic junk into our environment. So we got to get rid of all that. You can do this in a very affordable way. Now, you'll have to check with your state board and the regulations that you have on the products you use to clean your professional items. You have to follow your state board rules. But you can also replace the cleaners you use on the toilets, the floors, the doorknobs, the stations, the things to plant-based cleaners. Do not assume that if something says it's plant-based and it's not dangerous and it looks green and it looks organic, that it is. Use your app. Use the Think Dirty app. Use the EWG app and scan those products. Now, if you do not see that product in their database, then check with Google. Also, there's a website called safecosmetics.org. Now, if it's anything to do with cosmetics or lotions or creams or shampoo, conditioners, all those things, you can take it ingredient by ingredient and copy and paste it into safecosmetics.org, and it will give you a score on that. It'll tell you, oh, this is something you want to stay away from. This is the reason why you want to stay away from it. All of the stuff. So do your research, do your homework. Let your clients know that you're doing this, because let me tell you, you could have a whole edge over the competition in your community of other salons because you're taking the measures to do this. People in my healthy communities will not go to a salon unless they know they've already done this homework. So you could be reaching out to a whole new demographic of clientele, a clientele that doesn't care what you charge. For the most part, they're looking at that going, I am worth it. They're taking better choices. They're not going to expose me to the toxins. I'm going to them. I'm paying more. Okay? So this could be a business opportunity for you in that way as well. All right. So I'm going to do another video and talk more about the business. But you guys, please take heed to what I'm saying. Some of the systems in your body that are most affected by being in the beauty industry are your lymphatic system, your liver, and your skin. If you're dealing with chronic skin issues, chances are your liver and gallbladder are suffering. If you're dealing with diet issues, maybe you are not at the weight you want to be. Maybe you're eating the wrong foods because let's face it, time is money and most of us just eat through a drive-through. Most of us eat wrong, or most of us weren't even eating throughout the day because we had to get to that next client. Take care of your body. Many people are dealing with a gut issue. And when you're dealing with a gut issue, you're dealing with immune system issues and you're dealing with mental issues, because the gut is a second brain. Our gut, when it's out of balance, we can get cold after infectious thing that comes along because our immune system has a hard time fighting it. And a lot of times we can be suffering from things like chronic depression and anxiety because our gut is not correct in the way that it's digesting our food. So it's very important that you take care of your digestion. All right, that's a whole nother video, a whole nother class altogether. And I promise you, I talk about all of this in my community because that's what I teach now, because I've learned it. So we can help one another. We can help. We don't have to be that emotional punching bag. As a creator, as a creative in the salon, you're expected to be creative on the fly. You're expected to be on time with your clients. You're expected to be at work every day, whether you feel good or not, because you probably don't make any money unless you come in to work when you're sick. We're expected to do a lot of things. We're expected to smile the whole time too, because who wants to come to a grumpy hairstylist or nail technician or esthetician to get services done? Clients are coming to us to feel good, right? So we are bombarded by our clients and their negativity. Those negative Nancy's, they come to us and they dump all their drama and then they leave and they feel better. But we've absorbed all that stuff, right? So do things to protect yourself emotionally. And that negative vibe, that negative energy, just keep it off, okay? Diffusing Young Living essential oils in the salon will help you, but it'll also help them too when they come in. It's so much more than just making your salon smell good. If I was in the salon still, I would be using White Angelica or Sacred Mountain or Valor. All three of those are blends of essential oil. I would be putting a couple of drops and I would run it through my hair. I would run it across my shoulders, down my clothes, over my body, because I don't want all of their juju getting on me when they come in. I don't want that negativity jumping in over on this, because I'm trying to remain positive and I'm trying to remain the person I'm supposed to be, right? I don't want that stuff. So as a professional, you need to practice those things too. I promise you, it will make your day go better. Therefore, it'll make your client's day go better. Let's see what else. Gosh, there's so much I want to share with you guys, but I want to keep these videos kind of short because you don't have the time to kind of go through. If you're interested in knowing more, please get in touch with me. You can follow me on Facebook at Tina Daly Cecila. I'll put a little tag at the end of the video so you can see the spelling. You can follow me on Facebook. You can follow me on Instagram at Tina Cecila. And then, of course, my YouTube channel is Tina Cecila as well. You can catch me at some of those. And then be looking for additional videos. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and check out a lot of the resources that I have there. And if you have any questions, just comment on some of these videos and I will get those comments and I will address them as needed. So thanks for taking the time to watch this video, and I will jump in on another one and let you guys in on some of the things that could bless you financially as well. Have a great day. Stay beautiful. Bye-bye.